Rick from RAD Garage. I'm about to launch into my third episode of Wash and Chat. I'm rocking the somewhat old school Adams cap tonight. There's a couple things I want to talk about. What I was hoping to accomplish in this episode is I want to perform a rinseless wash on my very dirty SQ5. Last time we chatted, I did a full 2-bucket wash with a foam and everything, but I had to go to the grocery store yesterday and it had snowed. Well, it's actually snowed 3 days in a row, so by the time I got it back into the garage, it was filthy. So I'm going to perform a rinseless wash using Adams Rinseless Wash today. I'm going to talk a little bit about the do's and don'ts, and also a little bit about why I do a rinseless, because I know some people are just really against it. So I'll talk a bit about that. I want to talk a little bit about some wonderful comments that were made the other day by Matt Mormon over at Obsessed Garage. He said some really nice things about me and the work I do, so I want to speak to that for a bit. I want to also speak a little bit about Carzilla, talk a little bit about the referrals I've been sending his way. Also, I will talk a little bit about some arrangements I made with some music creators. So as I go forward making videos with music, I now have some artists that I'll be partnering up with. Talk a little bit about YouTube, and then at the end I've got a pretty big announcement about the future direction of RAD Garage. So let's get started. Like I was saying, I'm going to be doing a rinseless wash here. I spent some time earlier getting things ready. The prep for a rinseless wash is actually quite convenient. It doesn't take very long. I'm going to be using Adams Rinseless Wash. So what I did is I filled 2 5-gallon wash buckets with my conditioned water, and I added 2 ounces of rinseless to the wash bucket. And then I submerged probably 6 or 7 microfiber towels in that mixture. And I'll be using those for the wash. Also, I have filled my IK continuous sprayer with about 36 ounces of water with around 2 ounces of solution as well. I'm going to be using this as sort of a pre-spray just to loosen up some grime. Last time you saw me using this, I was using it with Adams wheel and tire cleaner, so I had to thoroughly rinse that out. But yeah, she's good to go. I think that's about it. Yeah, I'm going to be doing the wheels last, and I have never really done a rinseless on the wheels. I'm not anticipating that to be a very good time. I usually perform a proper wheel wash, but it's very cold outside. Once in a while, when I'm doing a wash inside, water does just escape just under where the car door is, and I don't want that to happen today because I don't want any icing. So I'm going to be doing the wheels rinseless, so should be interesting. Like I mentioned before, I have about 6 or 7 microfiber towels that are down here, just absorbing that rinseless mixture. I've got a little step stool here so I can get up to the roof. And while I begin, why don't we start chatting about why someone would elect to do a rinseless wash? And my answer to that is because there's no other option. Depending where you live, you might know what I'm talking about or you might not, but I will do a rinseless wash when there's no other option. So because it's so cold out today, I have no desire to pull out the buckets. And it's going to be cold for the next little while, so with no warm-up in sight, this is what I have as far as a process for washing my car. I know some of you out there are probably cringing, thinking I'm swirling up my paint. Even if that were true, which it's not, I have to consider what's worse, having a few swirls in the clear coat or having salt pretty much consistently wearing away at the finish. And that's what I deal with, and that's what a lot of people deal with. If I lived in sunny Southern California, I would probably never do a rinseless wash. I would have my buckets out on the driveway, no problem, but that's just simply not my life. And I've been very pleased with the results of my rinseless process over the years. And like I was saying, I do not have any evidence of paint damage. That could be attributed to a few things. It could just be my superior technique. Or it could be the fact that the car has a nice ceramic coat on it. And maybe it has to do with the fact that the Audi clear coat is pretty high quality, strong. So it's born out of necessity, right? Necessity is the mother of all invention. And with no other option, I'm gonna have my car clean in less than an hour on a -11 day. Let's take you over to the other side. Raise the camera up a little higher so you can see right up there on the roof what's happening. But the roof doesn't really get that dirty in the winter. So I'm just with very little pressure moving the towel back and forth and flipping it, finding a nice clean section. And once I'm finished with this roof, I will throw this towel into the rinse bucket. With the amount of towels that I've got, I probably use each towel twice, maybe 3 times. What I do is I grab a dry towel. Won't be dry for long because I'm gonna dry the roof with it. So far, not a drop of water has hit the floor. Wouldn't be a big deal if it did, but it is nice keeping things as dry as possible when it's really cold outside. How's spring where you're at? My spring has not sprung. It's been snowing for 3 straight days, and the temperatures have been hovering around -10 Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's too cold for the 1st of April. The windshield takes an absolute beating in the winter where I am. Rocks, mud. You know, snow looks so beautiful and white and pure when it falls, but once it hits the road and cars start driving on it, it basically turns into mud instantly. So if you're just behind a car going a normal speed limit or normal speed, they will kick up this muddy water mixture of mud, and it just cakes itself to every square inch. I was saying on Instagram a couple weeks ago that the wiper system on this car just doesn't seem to be able to deal with the constant barrage of mud and muck. And I've gone through, this is my 2nd set, or maybe it's my 3rd set. I had them replaced soon after I got the car because they just seemed terrible. And then they seemed okay for a little bit. And then I took it in for, I think, the 30,000 kilometer service. And they put new ones on. But they, I've had better wipers on cars than these ones, that's for sure. So this hood has a paint protection film on it. It's got SunTech film on it. So I don't really have to worry about any kind of damage on that. But even still, I like to keep my process consistent. If anybody in the Alberta area, here's a free plug for a friend of mine, would like their car paint protection film coated, you need to, once this COVID nonsense is over with, you need to talk to Darren Thompson at Thompson's Graphics because he's the best. But I've been very, very happy with the performance of this film. Like, it, not only does it add gloss, it offers amazing protection. I don't have a single scratch in it. It's self-healing, that might have something to do with it. I'm gonna take you over to the other side now. Once in a while I get a question about how well things roll on the Swiss Trax floor. And they roll pretty well. It makes a little bit of noise obviously, but no problem rolling it. So, now I have performed rinseless washes when my car's even way dirtier than this. Oh, you know what I forgot? I haven't been pre-rinsing. You know what? For this part of the car, I don't even think it was necessary, but please remind me when I start tackling the really dirty portions down low to use my sprayer and pre-spray. I can't believe I forgot that. Actually, I can. I have forgotten things in the past. Getting old. So like I was saying in previous episodes, the back of the car is where you see the brunt of dirt. So that's where we're gonna head next. Bring your pre-sprayer, bring your pre-sprayer, don't forget. You know what, I almost forgot my pre-spray after even just 2 seconds ago reminding myself. Okay, so let's just get some oh, that's better. So I'm just going to do the back in sections. I'm going to do the window and the rear deck lid. Then I'll do the rear bumper. And then I'll do the exhaust tips that are fake last. I want to alleviate all of the dirt winding up in one spot. So by curling it and then unfurling it, so let's see, how is this gonna work? Okay, so I'm coming along, and as I'm doing that, I'm unfurling it with the front. No, that still wasn't perfect. Nope. You know what, I've lost the tongue. I'm gonna have to get my, I'm gonna probably have to turn the camera off and get it together, man. All right, I think I know what I was doing wrong. I wasn't moving the towel as I was unfurling it. So as I'm coming here, I'm bringing the towel around. You can see, hopefully. And what this does is it just ensures that dirt isn't being recycled. Now, I'll go back the other way. I'm probably overthinking the process, but why not? Again, very light pressure. Okay, turn these towels. And as I do, as I get them rinsed, you know, I have more towels. I could probably do this without having to reuse a towel, but I just don't think I think that's complete overkill. These are quality towels. I think these are RAD Garage towels. And, you know, with a rinse, plus just the properties of the rinseless washes, it's working in your favor. Okay, that's nice and prepped. Grab myself a nice fresh towel that's been rinsed. And we're gonna head to the dirtiest part of the car, the rear bumper and rear deck lid. Okay. Oops, I stumble into the, okay, here we go. Unfurling it as we go. I don't know if the camera will pick up that sound. But the neighbor across the street has a Mercedes-Benz AMG GT 4-door. That thing is amazing. I'd love to detail it actually. And it's white and it could really use it. So unlike what I was saying to Tundra Whisperer the other day, I don't work bottom up with a rinseless, I work top down. No point in hitting the dirty part and then moving to the less dirty part. Give that a nice little soak. All right, so I'm gonna work my way down, turning every once in a while. When you go over a pretty dirty portion, it's best practice to not reuse that side of the towel, obviously. And then into the rinse she goes. I apologize if that autofocus is coming in and out, in and out. I still have to figure out how to set a focal point. Right now it's in continuous mode. That's a different way of doing it. Did it upside down and it kind of worked. Again, I think it's overkill, but I like the challenge. One door down. Looks great. Okay, so while I think I've shown you enough of the process now that I'll just keep doing it and I'll finish up and we can talk about other things. So something that I wanted to mention, which was really cool, was a viewer named Kyle contacted me and said, you better watch the latest Obsessed Garage video because Matt mentions you. And so I did, and I was just absolutely blown away by the nice things Matt had to say about what I'm all about. You know, his message was pretty sharp that, you know, maybe there's a time where I need to start focusing a little bit more on what I'm doing in here. And he said, if I did that, the channel would take off. And it's just a nice thing to hear. It's such a nice vote of confidence from somebody who definitely knows what it means to be focused and ambitious. So Matt, if you're watching, thank you so much for your words. I've already sent you a personal message just thanking you for that encouragement and that vote of confidence. And if you're unfamiliar with who Matt is, he is the founder of Obsessed Garage. And it's kind of interesting, him and I joined Garage Journal, I think it was around the same time, and when I first saw his thread, it immediately spoke to me because he was a big, oh here I am talking and getting confused again, a big user of Griot's Garage, and he had a Griot's wall in his double, it's a pretty big double garage. And I thought, well, this is a guy that I can definitely get behind. And you know, I got to watch and witness his rise, basically, his very open story about battling with OCD and how it helped him to get out of his own head and start sharing his mind with others. And look where he is now. He's got to be at the, you know, at the very pinnacle of the detailing world, and it's owed to his vision and his focus and determination. So for someone of Matt's caliber to take a few minutes and congratulate me on what I'm doing was just overwhelming. It was really nice, and he didn't need to do that, but it's just been great, you know. And recently I've been conversing back and forth with Mike from Chromatic Detailing in Ontario. If you haven't seen his videos, he is at the top of the craft. His videos are just epic. I've also been chatting a little bit with Pan through Instagram. Pan's been a great supporter of me, and he's been an inspiration of mine for years now. This last spring break has been great because I've had time to chat with people. I've been chatting with all kinds of people from all over the world. Just today I was speaking with a gentleman from Russia. He was telling me about his love of hockey and how he's impressed that my son's a hockey player. He says that's the best sport to get your kid in. I would have to agree. Not that other sports aren't great too, but hockey is the greatest. So it's just been great getting to connect with people, and it's just been a really fun couple of weeks. So thanks everybody, appreciate it. Just gonna dry this off now. Another thing that I wanted to talk about was recently I had to remaster and re-upload one of my favorite videos, which is my neighbor's A4 All-Road, because I got hit with some third-party match claims. So what I decided to do was approach my favorite creators and seek their personal permission to use their music in any video projects that I want to add music to. And two of my all-time favorites responded, and they were very positive about it. So you can expect to hear more sounds from Ambient Light and Aurora B Polaris. So while I'm doing this panel, I just want to give a public shout out to Chris at Carzilla. Chris is the epitome of a classy, ambitious, just a genuine guy. He has been such an inspiration to me in my hobby and my passion for detailing. And like all small business people, this latest crisis has, I'm sure, impacted him in a number of negative ways. I know he's currently doing probably a brisk online business because with my RAD Garage 5% discount code, every time somebody makes a purchase, I get a notification. And I think we're up to almost 30. And I think it's only been a couple of weeks, so it's great to see people supporting local business. If you're Canadian and you're into detailing, you know Carzilla, and you know just the variety of products they carry. They carry everything. Chris carries everything. And not only does he just carry everything, he knows about everything. So if you have any questions, let him know. He is not paying me for this. This is just me wanting to support someone who has inspired me and is an important part of Calgary's small business community and Canada's small business community for that matter. You know, he's a young entrepreneur. I think he's young. He's younger than me, I'm sure. And, you know, he's going for it. He's built himself a great reputation. So if you are in Canada and you want to make an order, go to carzilla.ca and use RAD Garage at checkout for 5% off. And I can't wait till this blows over so I can actually do a visit to his brick and mortar store up on Center Street North. Well, is it Center Street? Just off 16th Avenue. Such a nondescript store, but you walk inside and if you know what you're detailing, you're just like, I have found the Holy Land. If you've been to Carzilla, comment below. I'm interested to know. I've been pretty excited about the traffic running through the YouTube channel lately. The sub count's way up from what it was, and probably has a lot to do with the fact that I'm putting out more content, but it's just encouraging to see. And as always, the thing I appreciate more than views is just the number of comments I get and just how positive they are. I have to thank you all for that. You know, it's really what keeps you going, is when you know people are appreciating the effort you're putting in. And believe me, I do put effort in my work. I could easily just set up a tripod and, hold on, blabber on about this and that, but you wouldn't want that. It's fun to be a creator and see what likes, you know, make sure you check out my latest compilation video of all the foam footage from the last couple of years. Would have thought that video would get a little bit more interest, but maybe that's got something to do with the time of day I release videos. I really wish I understood the analytics a little better of how to get your video some play, but I'm not there yet. I'm happy with the way things are going. You know, that said, I do have a big announcement coming up at the end. I have a vision I would like to share with everybody, and it could possibly result in my channel generating even more traffic, but look for that at the end of this video. For now, I think I'm just gonna work, and feel free to watch. Post any questions in the comment section as you got them, but I'm just gonna work here. This is my first ever attempt at rinseless washing my wheels. I know it won't be nearly as effective as my regular wheel process, but desperate times call for desperate measures. So, do I want to use what towel do I want to use for this? Yeah, I'll use these. Yeah. Point of a rinseless isn't to prepare it for the Amelia Island Concourse car show. It's to get the salt off and to allow me to sleep at night knowing that there aren't salt chemicals eating away at the finish on the wheels and the paint. So it's actually pretty easy. So that's got the face. That only took a couple seconds. Do I bother trying to get in the barrels? I just don't know if my hand will fit. Let me try one little spot, see what happens. Ooh, yeah. Well, it's sort of like picking a scab. Once you start, you just can't stop. The only problem is my hand's coming up against the rotor guard. It's just not too bad. Just keep. Hey, you know what? This wasn't too bad. Like I said before, it's not going to a car show. It's going to be sitting in the garage for a couple days. I only go for groceries once a week, like most of you probably. So to have it sitting here for a whole week with that kind of crud all over it just would not make me happy. So there. Now I guess with the tire, I'm gonna use a different cloth for every wheel. I'll just give her a little. Good enough. Well, I'm just about finished here. The last step, I'm going to give it a spritz of Adam's Ceramic Boost. And now I just want to take a second to talk a little bit about the future of RAD Garage. So I've been talking with a lot of people lately, asking them, how can I drive more traffic to the channel? After all, views is what it's all about, right? And your sub count. From this day forward, I'm no longer RAD Garage, folks. I'm fixing to be Rowdy Garage. So as you can see, I've gone country. Gone will be the ambient, chill dubstep music. In will be Shania Twain and Jimmy Riggs. I don't know any country singers yet, but I will. So yeah, I'm just gonna finish up here. Next video you see, things will look a little different. But it's been great sharing this rinseless wash with you, and I hope you'll continue to tune in for future wash and chats here at Rowdy Garage. Yee-hoo!
I'm sorry, but I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world, there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is...